Hi, welcome to the Independent Thinking Online Children's Book Festival for 2021 in partnership with the Sue Atkins Book Club. And I'm really excited to be with Belinda Murphy and her amazing, colourful, lovely, relaxing, mindful book, Bella the Butterfly. So welcome, Belinda, and just to introduce yourself, tell us where you're from, what you're doing, how you got into what you're doing, how the book came to be.
Hi Ian, it's lovely to be here, so thank you for having me. My name is Belinda Murphy. I am Irish accent, from the south of Ireland in a place called County Cork. I'm a mom. I have 3 kids. My boys are 14 and 13, very much teenagery, and my little girl is 4. My background, I was in business, in the world of business for years. I did a master's in business studies, went into corporate for 17 years and I always felt there was something missing. I always felt like it was easy but not challenging, but was getting overpaid for all this work, and it wasn't me. I didn't feel like I could actually be me. Very much confined to a box, let's put it like that, but had bills to pay and was going through the motions. I was actually going through a marriage separation as well, so nothing was kind of feeling right, and I reached a point in my early 30s when the boys were only 4 and 5, where I realized I had no tools. I had nothing to help me with marriage separation, all the change that was going on as a mom trying to manage the 2 boys, I suppose, with their well-being and how they were coping with all the change. So even though I had 17 years experience in corporate and I had my master's, which I thought, you know, you're sold to the master's as, oh, this will solve the world. I had nothing. I had no tools. I was at rock bottom and nothing to dig into. And look, a lot of things, I suppose, people come into your life once you become a bit more open, and I discovered Reiki. So Reiki for me was a different language. It was somebody that I was helping her business. So part of my job was helping other businesses get started up. It was the whole area of entrepreneurship, but I was helping her, I thought, until we started talking. And then she opened up a whole different language to me, and it was like I knew it, but I didn't. So I just had to learn more and more and more. So I ended up studying to become a Reiki master teacher, understanding all about quantum physics, the world of energy, auras, everything like that. And it was like I found a spark that I'd been missing, that I knew there was something there, but it just had to be ignited. So when I was going to classes and I was coming home to the boys, they were, I suppose, seeing a version of their mom that was excited, that was, interested in the world. I was becoming more me. I was becoming more alive. So obviously they were intrigued, like, where were you? You were having fun without us. And I started to explain everything I was doing in their language, so toddler language. And I found that it was easy for me. It was easy for me when I understood it. Intuitively, it was easy for me to explain it in their language because they naturally got it anyway. Kids naturally understand these phenomena. It's just, I think they learn to forget it, or they learn to learn other things over it. So as I was driving home one day from class, on the motorway where I could not pull in, these words started coming into my head, and they were words like a rhyme, but they just flowed, and I felt they were kind of outside of me. I always point here to my right side, I don't know why, and but yet they were within me. So it took another 2 days before I could get to the kitchen table in peace and quiet and no child around me to actually write them down. So I actually asked, look, if I'm to have these words, if I'm to share them, I'm open, I have pen and paper, I'm ready. So I started, and these words just started from beginning to end. No break for just this rhyme, no break for spelling. 13 verses, which actually, and I put down the pin at the end, and I was like, oh my God, what is this? But it felt like it came from within me. At the same time, outside of me, like way bigger than me. And in that moment, I just knew I had to share it with everybody. It wasn't for me. It wasn't for me to hold. So I had to share it. So that was in 2012. That was the year I actually separated. So I made that into an audio recording. It was available on Spotify, or is available on Spotify, iTunes and Amazon since 2012. So that's always been there. So they were the words of Bella the Butterfly. But I always wanted a book. I love books. I love reading to the kids at bedtime. I love cuddling them up and having a book, and just the association of comfort, of love, of safety, of protection at bedtime. It's just one of our things. Yeah, read during the day, but bedtime for me is a solid time to embrace a little story and get them into a positive frame of mind before they go to sleep. So I always wanted these words to become a visual aid. Not a Kindle. I wanted an actual old-fashioned book. I have a thing about the smell of books and the feel of books and the touch and the memories. But I suppose I had to go on my own cocoon transformation. So I went through, obviously, marriage separation that year. I went through a career change, drastic. I ended up following that spark, following all these different courses, diplomas, degrees in nothing that was related to business. So I couldn't tell anybody about it, only my parents who were minding the boys for me. And my mother was like, oh, what have you got out of this? I was like, I have no clue. I have no clue. Like, I was doing holistic massage. There was life coaching and mentoring. I'm going to forget loads of these. All the different energy, like foundation courses. I was just sucking it in. It was easy. Anatomy, physiology, all this stuff. I didn't even do science in secondary school. I didn't like it.
Can I ask you, Belinda, try to interrupt you? It's fascinating.
Yeah, I'll just keep going.
No, that's fine. This is sort of this intuitive side to you that you discovered that led you in these sorts of directions.
Yeah.
It might be that there are people listening to this who maybe are cynical about Reiki and auras and chakras. And were you cynical about it before you sort of discovered that?
I had no clue. I had no clue. It was brand new. All the information was brand new. But when I was reading it, it's like I knew it. It was like it was there. So I had nothing to be cynical about, because I was judging myself. I wasn't. There was so much change going on around me. There was so much that didn't feel right outside there, that I had to look inside to see what felt right. And it was the first time in my life that I actually followed my heart. First time ever. I was constantly listening to my head. You know, you have to do this. If you asked me as a child what I wanted to be when I grow up, I always said a teacher. Always. I went to college, I said teacher. I did my master's and I said a teacher, except one day somebody in the class said to me, oh, you can't be a teacher. I was like, oh, you're right. And that was me starting to listen to other people. So I started to look for reinforcement outside of me from that moment. I was 22. And that's when everything went on a different roundabout, and nothing felt right, because I was listening to other people telling me what I should be doing and who I should be and how I should be and how I should behave. And so I ended up in like 10, 15 years of not feeling like me, because I wasn't. I was behaving like everybody else expected me to. So being cynical, I didn't have a space for that. I was only doing, for the first time ever, what actually felt right. Not just for me, but for my two kids as well. What felt right for them, because I was watching their responses and their they were like my guinea pigs. I was my own guinea pig. I was my own case study for all these different courses, as were they. So everything that I learned that was helping me, I used on them, emotionally and mentally. Yes.
Give us a little taster, because you're okay. People watching this will be getting really excited about it and about what the sorts of things you share, but they want to hear what it is as well. So
I do have to mention my amazing illustrator. I have a stunning, beautiful, magical illustrator called Romina Petra, who can see inside my head. She is Romanian, living in Germany. English is not her first language, but she can actually see which is amazing. So I will start with the beginning. Show you this page. Dear precious children of the world, listen. Please lie down or be sitting. Place your hands upon your face. Close your eyes. Hear the space. Sprinkle, sprinkle, golden dust. Sprinkle, sprinkle, magic dust. Feel it on your face tickle. Feel it on your hands tickle. Now place your hands at the side of your head and look at what we now have made. A swirling wind of bright light. Oh, what a magical sight. Just for today, I will be at peace. Just for today, I will trust. Just for today, say thank you. Just for today, be nice to others. Just for today, do your jobs well. Now place your hands at the back of your head. Look, a purple caterpillar in its bed. All snug and warm, it's so cozy, full of love in a purple fuzzy. It's very clever, just like you, and strong and wriggly in purple goo. Hold it closely with fingers closed. Careful now, there it goes. So it tells the story of the little caterpillar who goes through change in a cocoon. And at each stage there is a little, I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
It's a little elf. And the elf shows and guides the child where to put their hands. So there's 12 different positions to balance your own energy in Reiki. So what this book does, it guides the child through those 12 positions, and each position corresponds to the chakra, which corresponds to a color, which corresponds to an affirmation to let the child know that they are, you know, it's a positive affirmation. And it brings the child through the different phases so that they actually imagine they are going through transformation, and eventually, ta-da, after all these pages, we'll get to...
Spoiler alert.
Well, like, yeah. What happened?
What happens to the caterpillar? Wow.
Yeah. So it's, I suppose it teaches the child that change is okay. Change is normal. It's part of life. Transformation is totally okay. And that we go through all these different changes all the time. And if I'd known this in my 30s, if I had known that change was okay, that there were tools that I probably learned when I was younger, someplace, they were there at the back of my head that I could draw from, it would have made life a lot easier for me. So my whole purpose behind Bella the Butterfly is to share tools and techniques that I have used, that I have tried, not only my own children. I teach this. So I teach mindfulness and Reiki to kids in schools and one-to-ones, and I do it with parents and workshops. And I have seen the effects that these little tools, there's breathing techniques, there's loads of little things you can do that have a massive impact on the well-being of the child. And I just want to share those with kids so that they have a toolbox, that they have something when they're older or whenever they go through all sorts of change, that they know it's totally okay, and that they feel safe and protected. That's and
that's what comes across reading the book. I mean, I can imagine having a class full of children or doing it with their own children where they're just, and it's just so still and so quiet. I've been in certain primary schools where they do practice mindfulness and peer massage, and they'll come into an assembly to a single lit candle and just do some sort of relaxation, some breathing before the assembly starts. And it's so powerful. And I could just see schools responding to that. And I mean, I haven't heard much of Reiki in schools, but I have heard a lot about mindfulness in schools. So just tell us a little bit more about the mindfulness impacts of the book. And also because you produced a brilliant colouring book to go with it as well. Yeah. There's a lot about mindful colouring these days for adults as well as for children. So just hone in on that mindfulness angle for a bit.
So the whole mindfulness is the whole, I suppose, the stilling of the head. So we all have busy heads, and kids are very busy imaginations, busy heads. And what mindfulness does is that it helps the child just focus on this moment, or adults, just on this moment, not to be thinking about what's for lunch, what they didn't do this morning, but equally about worries, about anxieties. And I mean, I started this over 10 years ago. I've been doing this 10 years. We just happen to all be going through a global health pandemic right now. And that's when this got published. This is not something that I designed or anything like that, but there's never been a more relevant time for us all to kind of just quieten the head, understand what's going on. The whole world was paused last year, you know, and we were all, I think, shaped and kind of going, we all have to stop and focus and prioritize. So it was like a mass mindfulness little exercise for everybody to kind of go, okay, what's going on? Let's just focus on me, my head, the inside of me, and calm. And then how you manage the world, how you approach the world, how you interact. So that whole mindfulness is, it's absolutely powerful. And it's not just for kids or for teachers, it's for absolutely everybody. And I would always say with kids, there's no point saying, go away into your mindfulness. You have to embody it. They won't do what you tell them to do, they'll do what you do. So they emulate you. And same as a parent or a teacher, you have to be it. You have to prove or show them what the mindfulness is. If it's just that candle, if it's just a few deep breaths, and there's so many. I share mindfulness meditations up on the website as well, bellasbutterfly.ie, and they're little simple ones. And along with the book, there is a free audio download meditation on the website. So it's the words of the book with the music in the background, and it's just lovely and calm. It's 9 minutes. It's not long because kids' attention span isn't that long. But it incorporates enough to give them that little bit of gold, you know what I mean? So that, but they're in their own imagination as well. The mindfulness coloring, I've always loved coloring, but I didn't know it was a mindfulness technique. It just helps you focus in that moment. You're being very present. You're watching what you're doing. You're not concentrating on other things. It's very relaxing. The coloring book are the exact same images as the actual reading book, but they're actually in landscape, if you see, because I have a little 4-year-old girl who loves coloring. And every time she goes to color, she'll go, oh, Mom, you do that page and I'll do this page. So we're on the same book. So I'll have like a horse or something and she'll be doing like a sand bucket, random. And then she'll see me and go, oh, I want to swap sides. I'm like, okay, swap sides. And then she'll see me, oh, I want to swap sides again. So I'm like, okay. So then we end up with 2 very different pictures. And it doesn't feel like we've worked on it together, but we've been sitting beside each other, doing it together mindfully, choosing colors, you know, mind your elbows. But I wanted something that was a shared experience so that when you're finished, you actually have a lovely image that's produced by the people sitting beside each other. So it's a shared mindfulness experience, or let them do it all themselves if they really want to color it in. It's just for a 4-year-old, a full page is a lot.
Yeah.
So that's why it's on the landscape.
And behind you are pictures of from
kids who just wanted to draw me pictures of Bella the butterfly and write little cards, and it's just so sweet. And these are not from my children, by the way. My 2 boys wouldn't do anything like this anyway. It's from kids who just, Bella's had an impact in people's lives, and I just wanted to, I suppose, show kids that there's light, there's always love, and it's inside you, you know, and it's that message comes through in the book. And a lot of kids are very the sweetest messages I get, so they make my day.
Yeah, no, I bet that what I like as well, I mean, you mentioned affirmations, so there is the mindfulness, there's the physicality of the book, and the breathing, and the placing of the hands, which is all very guided and calm. Talking of guided and calm, the audio, is that you reading the book out? Yes,
with the Cork accent. Yeah,
your voice just goes together perfectly with it. I'm going to go to Spotify and find it next, because it's just really calming. Such an interesting, calming, relaxing voice. But it's a voice, because I don't hear many Irish voices. It's a voice from somewhere else, and this is a book from somewhere else. So the 2 go together very nicely. But what I like as well is this. It says at the end, you know, you're a precious child of this universe who is loved and who loves, and those affirmations around self-esteem and around self-value come across really loudly in the book as well. Do you do school visits? You do, and how can people find the book? How can they find you? Just remind us of the website. And it says, and it's .ie as well. Go on.
.ie for Ireland. So it's BellaTheButterfly.ie. I am on Instagram and Facebook also. It's at Bella the Butterfly Love. Quite active there, and my little girl does a lot of videos with me, so we might do videos of meditation or breathing techniques. So while she's been doing this since she was tiny, and it's quite simple, the little techniques, so I just want to show how easy it is to do with kids. And the books are available on Amazon. Just look for Belinda Murphy, Bella the Butterfly. What else do I have to say? Yes, the download is on bellathebutterfly.ie, and there are meditations available on the website also.
Okay, and if they're going to search for it on Spotify, the original, the unexpurgated version?
Just search for Bella the Butterfly, Belinda Murphy, but it's on the actual website. So I have the audio on the website. You don't have to go into everything is on the website. You can find it all there.
Right, brilliant. Thank you ever so much. It is a beautiful book, and I just get relaxed by reading it myself, let alone sharing it with children as well. It's lovely to hear. So thank you, Linda. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ian.